We're going to talk about the 5-play situations really quickly. There's a ton of different information that we can give you, so I'm going to try to keep it short. So take with it what you need. But the 5, and we're going to deal with doubles right now, but it's the same play situations for singles, right? So there's the baseline to baseline play, there's the serves, there's the returns, there's approaching the net, and there's approaching from your opponents towards you. Okay, and so we'll touch on a couple little aspects that you need to make sure that you know. But baseline to baseline and doubles, how many in here are doubles players? Good, almost everybody. So doubles is important. If you're a good singles player, the transition game is where you're going to need to use your singles play. So singles play is awesome because you got great ground strokes, but we don't want you to hang out at the baseline. So when we're baseline to baseline, our job isn't to end the point. This is where you're going to make a lot of errors, right? But your job back there is to keep it cross court, keep it deep. Don't worry about the net person unless they show you some stuff. But typically and even this morning, when I asked people, what are you thinking about the net person? They're all, yeah, we're gonna make sure we keep it away from the net person. If your thought is to keep it away from the net person, guess where a lot of your balls are going to start going? Towards the net person. It's like the old golf analogy, PGA Tour, the hole that's surrounded by water. It's the easiest hole, 130 yards, but it's the hardest hole on the PGA Tour. Why? Because it's surrounded by water. Everybody's worried about the water. So we're not worried about the net person. If they start moving, we can dictate play by hitting it down the line or lob over their head and that kind of stuff. But the baseline play for doubles is not about ending points. It's about staying in points. Does that make sense? Just keep it in play. Keep it cross court. Different trajectories, different spins. You're looking for short balls, so you can move the ball around the court if you need to, and attacking as soon as you can. Positioning is important. So if I'm on the baseline and I hit a wide ball cross court, what typically is coming back? An angle ball. So you need to decide, do I need to position myself deeper on the baseline to try to cover that angle, or do I want to come forward? Myself, I would come forward, but that's up to you. But remember, positioning is very, very important depending on where you're hitting your patterns. The serves. Serves, it's not about in doubles serving your favorite serve. I was working with a group this morning. If you're the server, your job is about getting the net player, your partner, the ball. That's it. And what we coach is the net player is your catcher, the server is your pitcher. I want my net player to tell me what he wants or she wants to where she can go get the ball. Okay, so she's telling me, serve down the tee, I'm going to go, serve into the body, slice, all different trajectories, spins, and pace, and all that. Okay, so my job, get them the ball. If you're serving and you're getting a lot of balls, you're probably serving incorrectly. Okay, now you've got to decide, where am I serving and where am I going? It's not serving and seeing, it's serving and knowing. Right, so where do I want to serve, where do I go? If I'm going to serve out wide, where do you think we should go? Forward. Right, because we've opened up the court. If I'm serving down the tee, hopefully you're going forward too, but you're hopefully setting up your partner at the net. You're also thinking about patterns. So as I come forward, I'm serving out wide, and then as I come forward, I've pulled my opponent off the court. Where should I hit my first volley? Typically right back where they came from. This morning and even yesterday, we're seeing a lot of players trying to end the point too soon. I'm not trying to serve it and end it with the first ball. I always tell people winners are more like a feeling, right? So when you see a ball that pops up, you kind of get excited, and usually we crank it over the fence. It's a feeling that you get. So if I don't have that feeling, my pattern in my head is I'm going to hit it cross court, I'm going to hit it through the middle, and I'm going to keep closing. By that time, now I've got options. The winners happen by the lack of distance between you and your opponent. Okay, so the closer I get to them, the less time they have to react. That's when I go down the line. But if I'm back, and usually it's a rough guideline, but if I'm outside the service line, we're not worried about attacking down the line unless you can hit it so hard that it's not coming back. So be patient, right? You're going to have that feeling. How far do we go? If you're a serve and volleyer, how far do we go as we come forward? Or if you're like me, I was coached to go to the service line. Serve, get to the service line, play your first volley. But it didn't work that way very often. And so I was like, okay, not that my coach was bad, but I'm going to try to do something differently. Tennis is based around time, not distance. I move as far as I need to go from point A to point B, from when I hit it to when they're getting ready to hit. If I hit 300-mile-an-hour serve, how far am I going to get in? Not very far. If I hit it 100 miles an hour, I'm going to get a little further. But again, I'm setting them up to crush it at me. So I'm dealing with time, not distance. I go as far as I can till they get ready to hit. I set up and I play my volley. Make sense? So don't worry about the distance that you're traveling. Men, that's why we struggle with the serve and volley game. We try to hit our serves too big. We don't have time to get forward. We're thinking we're just going to do it with one big serve, and that's when you get in trouble. Slow it down. Work on coming forward under control. The other thing is it's balance that we need to focus on. We tend to coach people with these great little volley footwork. That's awesome, but how many of you play and every time you hit a volley, you'd get to do that? Like none, right? So we coach you instead of doing this, this is okay, right? As long as I'm balanced, what's wrong with that? So as you come forward, if you're taking your time to move forward, it now is, hopefully you'll be balanced, but it's about the time that you have to come forward. Make sense? Okay, so the return. What are we trying to do with the return? Keep it low, keep it cross court. We will eventually start to see patterns. Usually a game, maybe two, you'll start to see patterns start to happen from your opponents. And that's a discussion that you and with the serves that you and your partner need to always have. We worked on it this morning. There should be a conversation between you and your partner after every single point. And it's about tennis, about the match you're playing, not about lunch and all that kind of stuff. So we tell our teams 3 to 5 seconds is as much as you should be talking. If you're talking more than 5 seconds, you're talking about the wrong stuff. Okay? Where are you going to serve? Where are you going to move? Where am I going? Make sense? So the return is the same thing. I'm not worried about the net player. Why? Because the ball is going to start going to them if I am. I'm worried about where I think the serve's going to go and where I want to hit, and then where do I want to move. My partner and I are doing the same thing. I want to know, she wants to know or he wants to know where I'm hitting it and then what she wants to do. So if I'm hitting it low cross court because they're a serve and volleyer, good time to move forward and poach, right? If I can get it low, usually with a dipper or maybe even a slice, but I'm trying to keep it low and then I want her to move in and poach as well. Remember the lobs. Mix in your lobs. I know a lot of people, especially us men, it's a little bit of an ego thing. Lobs are great. It's a great neutralizer. Down the line lobs, cross court not so much, right, because they're on their way in. They're back there. But as they come forward, if you're not lobbing, there should be a pattern. The pattern should be a drive, and then once you set, how many times when you play do you see first volley winners? Not very often, right? Every once in a while. I want to drive it, allow them to hit the ball. They're probably not going to hit a winner. Set the next shot up. If they don't close, I'm going to drive it again to their feet. If they close in tight, I'm going to lob it. But the pattern is I'm not panicking. I'm just going to drive it cross court, and then I'm going to wait for the next pattern. And they'll set it up. They'll either hit the volley out wide, which allows me to do option A or B, or they'll hit it down the middle, and hopefully my partner's ready to play. But as they come forward on the return or on the serve, and with your return, don't panic. You're not trying to hit winners. You're trying to keep the ball in play. And a lot of times we see people trying to get it away from them, just like when we talk about them approaching. We panic, and we try to hit too good a shot. Make sense? Approaching. This, to me, is the most important aspect of tennis, and doubles especially, is this. Usually we're really good back there, we're really good up there, but this is where we struggle. So when we're at the baseline, remember what our job was back here is to keep a ball in cross court. Not a whole lot of errors. We want to limit our errors. We're not trying to hit winners back here. Here, we're trying to get them in trouble. But what we tend to see is people try to, well, I don't want to miss. I just want to get the ball in play. And so we attack. We've just bunted the ball back to them, and what ends up happening? Lobs and balls ripped at you or your partner, that is not what's beating you. It's the approach shot that's beating you, right? So all the time, all of our teams, we're coming in, Scott, that's why we don't go in. Look, we're getting lobbed to death. And I'm like, well, do something with the approach shot. If you're just trying to hit it in because you don't want to make an error, that's what's killing you. So we talk about it's a shot back that's really hurting you. Make sense? So coming in, we've got patterns. I can hit out wide. What typically is coming back if I hit a wide one? A wide one. I know we all coach you this, but this isn't exactly what we mean. We talked about this morning, right, Steve? As I hit it wide, my job is not necessarily to follow it in and follow the angle of the ball, because then I get into here, right? My job is, my partner and I are doing separate jobs. She's covering that area and angles. I'm covering this area and angles, and we're covering it in thirds, not halves. Cover down the line. I cover the middle. We're playing deuce side. Cover down the line, I cover the middle, we'll leave this open for you. So now if I'm doing a separate job than she is, I hit it wide, the angles that come back are this way, correct? So if I come to the middle of the court, like we've been coaching you, that's easy. But if I go in the middle of your angles that come this way, now I position here, I can cover the middle, and I can cover everything here. So we want you to come in and go at an angle forward, but not necessarily here. Make sense? So if our teams have their feet in the middle of the court, or if their feet are in the alley, they've gone too far. Remember, if I take one step, now I'm covering a ball that's actually outside the court. So from in here, if the ball's in the ad side, my job is in here now, and I'm covering that, and I'm covering that. Cool? Wide ball brings a wide ball. Middle ball brings what? I know we've been coaching you for years to say, hit the ball deep and attack. How many of us can hit it deep and attack, and it gets really, really deep? Some. If you can't do it consistently, why not try one of the other options? Because if I'm hitting it deep and I'm attacking, what are they going to hit? Lob. And so you better love your overhead. Right? If you're getting lobbed and they're short, make sure you're working on your overhead, because you've got to have that to be a good doubles player. But if you're getting lobbed, don't tell you and your partner, we'll stay back. That'll cover it. That's not going to solve your issue. That just makes your hour-and-a-half doubles match go 4 hours. Right? Keep attacking, but make them move. Make sense? The fifth one. So that's approaching. And well, if you have questions at the end. If they're attacking me, this is where we see deer in headlights. Our players start sweating. They get really, really nervous because here they come. Same thing. I don't panic. I want them to come forward. I want them to hit a couple balls, and I'm using what they give me. If it's a wide ball, I can roll it down the middle of the court and out wide. If it's middle, I'm trying to roll it through the middle or a little bit wide, but remember, this is a tougher option. And I also have the lob if I want to hit a lob. But I'm not panicking as they come in. I'm literally at first trying to make them hit a ball. Just hit it right to me. I want to see what you do. Too many teams, we panic and we try to do too much, and we start making error after error after error. Let them come in. Hopefully it's down low. Now they're going to do something. Either pop it up, your partner's got it. They're going to pop it up and do nothing, and they attack, and now you've got an offensive or defensive lob. But allow them to come forward. Don't panic. Use your patterns as they come in. But work on it. How many of you work on serves when you play? How many of you when you practice, you do more live ball than anything? Steve's probably killing me because he was with me for like 9 hours a day, and that's all we did. It's live ball. I'm not a big fan of doing the dead ball unless it's just a specific drill that we've got to work on or a technique. But the live ball is where you see it. So any of the coaches in here and your coaches at home, make sure you're doing a lot of live ball. So as coaches, we now get to see you in real life situations and play. Because if we set you up and just drill, or even some just play situations where we feed it in, we're setting it up to where it's not realistic. So like today, we did a lot of playing. That's all we did in the second group, is just play. But then you give them feedback as you go. So try to do that if you're one of those that use the ball machine before your league matches. Not a good idea. Like yesterday, I hit so well. Then I played today, and I was horrible. Because it's this ball that's like in here. Get out there and rally. I was talking to somebody earlier, rallying cross courts. The coaches, we love doing that stuff, right? I'll go out and hit for hours just doing cross-court drills, down the line drills, and all that stuff. But most of us, we just want to play. But it's the amount of balls that you hit is how you're going to improve. So you want to hit ball after ball after ball, and hopefully in some sort of situation. Cool? Couple things real quick. The 2 Ps that we talk about a lot of times. Placement and positioning. So we talk about, think about the lob scenario we talked about. If I'm getting lobbed, most of us talk about or think about our positioning on the court. The reason that we got lobbed is because I'm standing here. But if I hit a different ball, would I get a different result? So imagine, I don't know, I'll pick on Steve. Steve's back at the baseline, and I hit this. Is he going to lob me? So does it matter where I'm standing in that scenario? So we've got to think the 2 Ps are placement of our ball and then positioning. Don't do it in reverse, which is what most of us do. We get lobbed, different position. We don't even think about hitting a different shot. We just think, if I stand somewhere else, it's going to solve the whole issue. Go through your options. Remember, sorry, Steve, If I hit it wide, he may be awesome. If I hit it down the middle, he may be awesome. If I give different trajectories or spins and all that kind of stuff, I may find something that all of a sudden, oh, okay, that works. So let's do that. That allows you to keep coming in. If you're a 3-0 player, we tell our teams you got to come in at least once on the serve, once on the return. If you're a 3-5 player, it's twice on the serve, once on the return. If you're a 3-5, 4-0, 4-5, at least twice, if not 3 times on your serve, and at least twice on your return. So we've got to keep coming in. Doubles is still better played up here because I have more options. I play doubles to get options to hit winners. Remember what we talked about? Back there, I'm not hitting a whole lot of winners, but I'm going to make a lot of errors. Here is where I want to dictate play and make them pay for giving me a short ball. And then when I'm up here, I'm trying to end it. Make sense? All right, we're meeting out on the court right now, all of you. All right, thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming.